Hello, my name's Chris, and welcome to my little corner of the baseball world. I want to introduce myself today and let you know what you may see going forward with my channel, and hopefully you will come back and join me again. I am originally from Evansville, Indiana, home of Don Mattingly. I was fortunate enough as a youngster to watch Don play when he was in high school, and his junior and senior year saw many of his games, and Don was a hero to me before he ever even sniffed New York. I really enjoyed watching him play. I pretty much have lived baseball most of my life. I used to read a lot of old biographies, Mickey Mantle, Mays, Clemente Musial, Aaron, all the greats from the 50s and 60s. I used to read their biographies, check them out from the library, find a used book somewhere, and read as much as I could on those old players. So the first packs that I can remember opening were 1975. Pick them up at the local grocery store, the corner drugstore, and love the colors, love the players at that time. 1975 was the first World Series that I can recall as a kid. I remember that series very well, from the Big Red Machine to the rainouts to Carlton Fisk's home run to the Reds winning in the seventh game. I don't remember much baseball before that, but I can vividly remember that series. So I was a Big Red Machine fan. Grew up, and then a little bit later we got cable TV in the late 70s as they started to break up the Big Red Machine. So with cable TV came WGN Cubs games after school during the summertime. Anytime I had an opportunity to watch the Cubs, I would do so, and became just a huge Cubs fan growing up. In fact, when they made the playoffs for the first time in a long time in 1984, a buddy of mine and I, our parents wrote us a note so that we could get out of school early, and we walked to his house and watched the playoff game while the rest of our friends were in school still. So that was a good, fun time. Later in life, a little bit later in life, I moved to Alabama. I worked in minor league baseball for 8 years, so I had the experiences of meeting players, meeting the coaches. Went to the winter meetings every year, the baseball winter meetings, and so had a lot of fun there. I was fortunate enough that through some of the things that we did, and I'll get into those stories, but I was able to spend the better part of 3 days with Willie Mays, and a lot of that was in very small, groups of a few, 3 or 4 people. Just really good time. So I'll get into those stories for sure at some point. So I was also able to go see the final 2 games ever in Tiger Stadium. The only 2 games that I ever saw in Detroit. But what that was special to me, because as I was growing up, Evansville was home to the Evansville Triplets, which was the Tigers' AAA team. So I got to watch Jack Morris and Lance Parrish and Mark Fidrich come up, Milt Wilcox and Dan Petrie and Tom Brookins, a lot of the players from the late 70s or early 80s, and even the meats of that 1984 World Series championship team came through Evansville, and got to watch a lot of those guys, and that was an awful lot of fun. I also was fortunate enough to go to Yankee Stadium to Don Mattingly Day and see the festivities and see the Yankees retire number 23. That was a quick 23.5-hour trip. Jumped on a plane after a game. After I worked a game in the minor leagues, flew to New York, got a ride to Yankee Stadium, met some friends that were already there. Went through the game that day, the festivities, caught dinner in New York City, walked around for a little while in Times Square, back to the hotel. First thing in the morning, back on a plane so that I could be at work the next day for our final game of the season. But that was a quick and fun trip. One of the other things that I did when I worked for the minor league team is I was responsible for producing the baseball card set for the team, and also other items like bobblehead dolls and things like that we gave away, and different things, the souvenirs. I did a lot of those items. So, with the team set, I had to make sure that we had photography for all the players, choose the photographs that were on the cards, choose a card design, work with the printer, and we did some special things that some other teams weren't doing. And so I'll get into that. I'll probably do a video on that because we did a few special things I was really proud of and I thought was a lot of fun. And I think you might find it interesting. But kind of going back to collecting, I stopped collecting right around 1987, 88. And so I missed much of the junk era, caught the very beginning of it and then kind of missed much of it there and never really got back into it until about 8 years ago. So I missed the 90s and early 2000s, came back about 8 years ago and focused mainly on vintage. But I also bought a 1975 set and have upgraded it. So now I have a pretty high-end 1975 set, and I'll probably get into that a little bit with some separate videos and show off some of those cards and share my love for the 75 set. I don't do a whole lot of pre-war stuff just because, quite frankly, it would be a rabbit hole that I don't need to go down right now. So I focus on, stars mainly of the 50s and 60s, 70s, and then the 75 set. And I, dabble into a little bit into the early 80s just because, again, going back to some childhood memories. But I really don't do modern cards at all. I mean, very, very, very little. I may buy a few cards here and there, specific players or specific memory to kind of bring back. I will say that I am looking forward to the Heritage set from this year, which is bringing back the 1975 design. So I am looking forward to now buy some Heritage, and we'll probably open those up on the channel here so that you can see those. Again, this is not going to be a huge pack opening channel, but at the same time, I will do that and share those with you. We do have some PSA grade reveals coming up. I have several of those in line, and we'll talk about those. As I go through cards, I don't rifle through, grade reveals and opening cards, in the fastest manner in the world. I'll talk a little bit about the players, share some tidbits, and hopefully you will enjoy and maybe even learn a few things here or there, or at least jog your memory on some things that you might have forgotten along the way. But the idea is to celebrate the history of our baseball and baseball cards and talk about some of the players and maybe bring up some things that you might not know. So those are coming up. We'll do some different things. I'll try to do my best to make this better. As I'm new to these videos, so I'll try to do my best to improve my delivery, production, the videos themselves, just in general, give you a better quality product. So I do wish that you kind of work with me on learning some of this as well. If you like what you've heard and you want to hear some more, please like the video and also subscribe to the channel. Doesn't cost you anything. It helps me. It helps you catch future videos, and hopefully we can have some fun together. I do welcome your comments, both positive and negative. I can always take a little bit of criticism, but I want to interact, and I want people to enjoy the channel, enjoy the experience, and hopefully I can bring something a little bit different. I'm not going to be completely unique, but at the same time, a little bit different style than what you may have seen before. And that's my goal. So hopefully I will see you again. Thank you for sticking it out this long. I will look forward to interacting with you. And again, if you will subscribe to the channel, it'll give us a better shot to see each other again one day. Have a great rest of your day. And again, thank you very much. I do appreciate it.